really what we're doing in this show tonight is just coming back in and talking about what we thought of the 50th experiences, mainly Disney Enchantment and then Harmonious. And then all the other craziness that went on in the 50th. So
yeah. And I have questions, so that's great.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, if you guys that are in there watching and tuning in have questions, please put them in the comments and we will get to them. But Gina, since you're here with questions, go ahead and kick it off, and our panel of 50th experts will answer.
Excellent. So my first question is, how crowded was it at Magic Kingdom on October 1st?
It didn't feel very crowded to me, but I didn't attempt to buy merchandise. So the merchandise lines were crazy, but it did not feel crowded during the day until about 2 hours before Disney Enchantment. Then you could see, the hub and things starting to feel crowded, but the park itself did not feel crowded to me at all.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. And then Amy, same with you?
So I actually did attempt the merchandise line. I tried to get in the virtual queue to get the day. What we were told was a special day of Magic Kingdom only merchandise, and I couldn't get in the virtual queue for that. And then I had a friend who wanted the white ears, and I did not. I got in the Emporium, but the white ears were just like flying off the shelves like those Starbucks cups. So I waited in an hour-long line for a different pair of ears that I could have gotten like 3 days before that. But then I walked around for a couple of hours. I stood like right in front of the castle behind the stage for probably half an hour and just watched everything happening in the hub. And I kind of walked around and looked at all the different lines, but I walked on to every ride I wanted to ride. And then I probably left Magic Kingdom about 12 o'clock. So I gave it a solid 6 hours and then I peaced out.
Yeah. So I rolled in about like 8:30, 8:40, and it looked like Christmas morning. Level crowds on Main Street.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Main Street was a cluster mess because you've got Emporium there. You've got a line that wrapped all the way up and down Emporium, and 50 million people. Remember, in order to come on the first, you had to be an uber Disney fan with some uber planning skills, and we were all out in full force. So the people that were there were just soaking it all in. And so every ride was walk on to 15, 20 minutes.
Wow. Just the lines for the merch.
Because it was all your Uber fans that were in line for the merch. And outside of the Big Top out there by Dumbo, where they had the day of merch.
Oh, no. That's
everything else is going to be here for 18 months, guys.
Yeah.
And if you're an Uber Disney fan, this is not your only trip in 18 months. So
right.
I'm like, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to suck it all in and I'm going to do this and I'm going to watch you people in there and I'm going to enjoy that. But I'm going to, I did every ride in the place. And
great. Well, that's actually great.
Had plenty of time to spare. Came home at about like 2 o'clock, about the time the park hoppers were getting in. I was getting out and went back to the room, slept a few hours, had some lunch, had some dinner, then came back in at night to hit a couple of more things and then wait in line for the fireworks and actually met up with Willie and Rebecca that night. And I met Alicia that night.
Yay.
I haven't posted the photos because something goofy in Facebook where you have to select individual photos to give them access to. So it just makes posting photos just a real pain.
Yeah.
But I've got a bunch of photos from, meeting listeners and things along those lines. And that was really, really cool. And so that's kind of Magic Kingdom on the first from my perspective.
Okay.
At least in the crowds. And
we got some comments. So Mark says the merchandise stuff was crazy a week beforehand. So did they have 50th merch out early?
Some, yeah.
We were there in August and saw some of it was out in August. But there was definitely more. So we went on the 29th to World of Disney. They had a lot more out than they did when we were there in August. And there was no lines that day for any of it.
So I saw somebody wearing the pass holder shirt that said the one that I'm wearing, right? And it had some serious FOMO when I saw that. It has the October 1st, 1971 and then the October 1st, 2021. And that was why I really wanted to get into the Big Top to get this shirt. And when I hopped to Epcot, the creations there were just piles of them, piles of shirts, piles of pins. So I found that really interesting because they really made it seem like Big Top at Magic Kingdom was the only place you were going to get that merchandise on October 1st. So that was a surprise to me, a very pleasant surprise. It kind of made my day.
Yeah, and then it was all readily available over at Epcot. And that was like that's what was crazy about this to me. I'm like, you created this FOMO, Disney, but then you put it there too? Like, come on, man. Like,
Right.
It was my Disney magic. There it was.
I think that was the biggest realization for me, is that they really do plan for the celebration to be 18 months long, and there wasn't anything major special for being there on October 1.
well, the commemorative maps
You're right.
that we got.
Yep.
And then
And
the
the
little
poster.
poster from Magic Kingdom when you walked out was really cool as well. So I did get 2 of those, and I think Gina Shannon laid claim to it. So I mean, they're going for an insane amount of money on eBay.
Yeah.
I heard a couple $100 on eBay for that little
Wow,
piece
just
of
for
paper.
a map, a blue map.
Yeah, it's just like insane. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's
I was surprised there was no merchandise that said I was there. Like
Right.
I have merchandise from Toy Story opening that says I was there. Like it was, it's a pin that has the date on it, and they really only sold it that day.
Yeah, I have Epcot's 30th lanyard and
Mhm.
Epcot's 30th date, October 1st, 2012, for 30th birthday for Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. Yeah.
And even throughout the day, they didn't make it anything special to be there that day. And one of the things, the welcome show was, didn't say, we're glad you're here on, this historic, no mention of that. It was kind of just normal. Disney Enchantment, was just the same that you're going to see for the next however many days. There just wasn't a whole lot of like, hey, this is special for today. Now, there was a lot of camera crews there, and I haven't gone and watched all the footage yet, but from what family and friends were telling me, that it was probably more hyped about this being a historic day on the media
Mhm.
than it was actually in the park.
wow, that's
Interesting.
interesting.
Super interesting to me, only because I was at the 60th. I was there for the kickoff for Disneyland 60th and the actual birthday of the 60th. And it was 2 separate events. And the actual birthday is July 17th. And they did a cupcake thing, and they did a whole come get your free stuff. And then on the kickoff of their celebration, that's when they debuted all their things and had the special popcorn bucket and the special whatever things that day only. Very interesting. And we have a question. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, but it felt historic to me for sure. I mean, it wasn't like it lacked any magic or excitement. I mean, it felt historic. It felt fun. This was my first time back in the park in 577 days. So, I mean, I had been at Hollywood Studios the day before, but it had been really, it lived up to a lot of its hype of what I was hoping to feel. But it just didn't, you could tell like, okay, I could have come 5 days from now and I probably would have had that same excitement, but maybe not the same sense of internal historic, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, the photo pass lines were pretty epic as well for people getting photo pass done on the 50th. And I was like, should I get one? And I'm like, nah.
Same castle. It's the same castle.
Same
It'll be the
castle, same this.
Yeah.
And I was just more there to hang out, take it all in, hit some rides, meet some people, just chill and have a good time and take it all in, right? And to me, there was like no historical significance. There's no like I'm going to be telling my grandkids I was there on the 1st.
Yeah. Interesting.
Maybe if I get this, photo framed, but I'm still jaded. I'll be honest. I am still jaded over the Chapek comments about dissing on annual pass holders and us spending merch. So I kind of Chapek'd him. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that was my take on the merch. Was like, okay, I'll just do a little self-fulfilling prophecy here, Bob, and you're going to diss on us for this. Okay, I just won't buy your merch. Fair enough.
I did I had a really cool kind of thought moment exchange with my 11-year-old because she was trying to figure out how old we'd all be when they celebrated the 100th birthday. And she's like, well, you and Dad will be 97. You should come. And I was like, well, if I'm still alive in 97, we will meet in to say I was there. But you know, she's going to be in her 60s. I was like, you know what? Just promise me that you'll go. Go when it's be there for the 50th, try to be there for the 100th, bring a picture of your dad and I.
You're going to have to buy her like a Disneyland tower contract or something that says she's got points to come.
Yeah, we informed them they would not have points at that point unless there was some extension. We're like, you guys will be out of points by then.
Yep, you're on your own for your own points. Now, here was another thing that I thought was absolutely positively a head scratcher. Did you guys try mobile ordering that day of something in the park?
We did not. They wouldn't let me mobile order the Dole Whip when we wanted it at like 9:30 in the morning. You had to wait till 10 to do the mobile order because that was the official opening of Aloha Isle. But they were open, so you could. So we waited in the line, which wasn't super long. It was maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then we ate a sit-down meal.
Okay, because I tried to do a mobile order from Pecos Bill, and the streets were packed outside of it when I showed up. And I started asking people, and they're like, I've been here for 2 hours.
For mobile.
And that's when I just said, peace out, okay? Because you have to wait till your time, show up, hit the I'm here, prepare my food button, and they were waiting 2 hours from that time
after
to get
they pushed the button.
I'm like, guys, you forced mobile order down our throat like 18 months ago.
And when we use it.
And now when it matters and we use it, it's kind of broke. Like, you had all kinds of time to get this right. Like,
at some point around noon, something went down with their systems. Like at Poly, they couldn't take credit cards. They were taking cash or room charge only. So I don't know if that was also somehow snowballed into the mobile order thing as well. But someone said it was because of the bloggers and streamers using all of the bandwidth, and I don't know, but I did not try to mobile order anything in Magic Kingdom. I went back to Poly.
Well, I can tell you this, like, internet connectivity across campus was just
the worst.
Horrible bad. And I'm going, this is the 50th. What did you guys plan for and expect from a network capacity?
Nothing. Nada.
But I still managed at 7 a.m. standing in the middle of the Emporium. I still managed to get my family a Remy's boarding pass somehow, even with all that terrible connectivity. So I had to I cheered for myself, and no one around me was like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, my family's going to Epcot.
Got it. I struck out on Remy both times the next day, and they were just gone like that. And I'll try a couple of more times this week and see if I can't work it and swing over there. Knowing my luck, I'm supposed to be working this week from the room. Knowing my luck, I'll get one at like 10 a.m. during a meeting. Okay. Here's when my boarding group will be called. And I'll be like, oh,
can't go.
There went Remy. Okay. So we'll see on that one. But yeah, mobile ordering was kind of flaky. But other than that, I'm like going, I thought it was a pretty good 50th. And
okay. We have a question from Rebecca. Did you try any of the 50th anniversary food items?
I did not, but I know Willie and Rebecca tried the 50th burger from Cosmic Rays. And he said it sounds heavy when you read it, but it was really actually light and refreshing, which is not typical for a burger. But he spoke very highly of it. So that's the only thing that I know of. Did you guys try anything from the 50th food?
I had the cupcake at Polynesian, the pineapple Dole Whip cupcake. I had it for breakfast yesterday morning. It was fantastic. It was probably the best cupcake I've ever had. It was absolutely delicious.
Ooh, I might have to swing back by there.
Yeah. It was a vanilla cupcake with Dole Whip mousse infused in it, and then it had some sort of buttercream frosting and like a candied pineapple dipped in white chocolate with some fruit slaw and a pineapple macaroon on top of it. It was delicious. I did not share any of it.
Okay, then. I wouldn't either. Sounds so good.
Okay, then.
We tried just a couple things. Crystal Palace had a special 50th lemonade in a 50th plastic cup. and this like red Mickey, looks like a bath bomb that you put into the lemonade to make it a strawberry lemonade. I mean, Jenna said it was good. It was a little underwhelming in the presentation when you dropped it in. It didn't like, fizz or pop or anything. It just
missed the mark again. Well, I'm glad you said it was plastic cup because I'm not going to be purchasing a plastic cup. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and it was $10.
It was a plastic cup for $10 and you poured your lemonade in it, or
it came with lemonade and you dropped this bath bomb type thing in it to make it strawberry lemonade.
Wow, because Reagan asked about that and she was like, "Can you figure out a way to bring this home?" And I'm like, "I don't think so."
Well, tell her it's a plastic cheap cup, so forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you said it was plastic, because if it was glass, maybe I'd consider it, but plastic, no thanks.
But speaking of cool cups, I did get this for Marianne, and this is the new 50th cup.
Oh, is that the refillable?
Yeah, it's the refillable here, and they had two designs there, but I only needed one, so I picked the one with the classic Mickey on it, as opposed to the new Mickey on it. And I have a thing with Marianne, when a new cup comes out and I'm here, I always buy the cup and use it for my vacation and then wash the cup and mail it to her, and she pays me back for the cup. So I kind of get free soda that way, and she gets the cool cup that she wants. She didn't have to wait till she gets here to get the cup. So it tends to work out well.
Is that cup bigger than the old one? It looks a little bigger.
It is like, I'm just holding it up really close to the camera.
Yeah.
So, like,
it has a better lid for sure. It looks like it'll actually.
It definitely has a better lid.
Yeah.
Because this thing actually comes back over, and I think it does seal fairly well.
Oh, that's great.
It snaps. I'll tell you that. So I do like the lid better, and I like the color combination.
Mm-hmm.
Hail to the victors as well. So
that's great.
I also popped over to Riviera yesterday morning. I'm a big fan usually of the Riviera seasonal cupcake. So we popped over there to get one before we left. Didn't know that they didn't sell them till noon, and we needed to be out of there by noon. So I convinced them to somehow go up to Topolino's and get me one before noon. And I ate it at the airport, and it was a special 50th was their seasonal cupcake. And it was just as fantastic as any of the other Riviera seasonal cupcakes. And I did not share that either. And they only brought one. They didn't ask me how many I wanted when I convinced them. So they came down with just one. And so the rest of my family got the chocolate banana bread.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, well, mom pulls rank.
Yeah, at least they went up too and got it, because at Land for mobile order, it opened at 7 a.m. So even if the park's not open, you can get your time at like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Because that's okay. So that's the one thing at Land that we discovered is if you're there, you can do it.
Yeah, Caleb makes a really good point here. He says, I hope that they get a new stainless steel mug soon for the 50th, kind of like the Star Wars or the Skyliner one. Yeah, I think that was a missed opportunity, but maybe they just didn't come in, or we haven't seen them yet. So, but if that comes in, I'll definitely be getting one of those, because those were pretty cool. And then Patricia asked, how many color popcorn buckets were there? Will there still be for the next 18 months?
Oh, 4.
So
there
I think
were
there were 4 of the balloonier ones, right?
And I heard that was supposedly that when they're gone, they're gone. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or if they're just stuck on a boat somewhere out in the Pacific, but I can't believe that they only ordered enough for one day. I don't believe that for 1 minute.
No.
Yeah, no, because I've heard other people say check back tomorrow for more. And I think they drug out what they allotted to sell that day, and they're trying to just get you to come back and buy another park ticket another day, another whatever. And
now, do they say 50th on them?
Yes.
Okay, because we have those at Land, but they don't say anything. They're just blank.
And they're iridescent.
Oh, fancy. Okay.
Okay, there we go. Right. And Mike was saying, do you think they'll do away with mobile order soon? Not on your life.
Nope.
No, because it's actually easier for them because they don't have to handle the money. They don't have to have that cast member interaction for you ordering. And it's just a lot more efficient for them that way. So mobile ordering is just kind of here to stay.
Yeah, they just have to figure out the timing, because that's the same problem at Land is when you get there, you push that button and you're waiting 20, 30 minutes still. All you got to do is take the corn dog and put it on the thing. That's all you got to do. Corn dog on the thing.
It was interesting. So Hollywood Studios the day before, you could mobile order at Woody's Lunchbox, or they had standby line where you could go and actually order
That's
and
better.
pay. And
I think a lot of places do have standby lines still, but they encourage you not to use them. So that's kind of what I've seen, because I knew Satuli Canteen about a week or two ago when I was here for the day after the cruise. You could have mobile ordered, which I did, but they also had a cashier there as well. So you could have done either way, and either way. And I know people love their popcorn buckets and sippers. I heard that you had the only way to get the mini sipper this time was to mobile order it through Cosmic Rays. So that was a little bit of a shock to me that you had to mobile order it in order to get it. And then Rich comments here that ABC made zero mention of Tron as part of the 50th celebration.
Because it's not.
2023 at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that we'll get it sometime during the 50th because they've got 18 months still.
True. So that'll go to 2023.
And it's looking like they're ready to just put that cover on there and start running some vehicles through it. So it's not looking like it's too far away. It's not looking like it's the Epcot right behind Spaceship Earth, which is still nothing but just torn up in dirt because you can see it from the monorail when you come in now. And so that one I don't have hopes for. I'd say 2024 before we see Epcot finalized at the earliest. But, who knows? And who knows? So.
We still have points. Our contracts are still good. We're still going. So my other question is, there's a few questions. My other question is, though, I need to hear about Enchantment first, and then we have to hear about the other show. So what were your thoughts of Enchantment?
Yeah, ladies, why don't you go ahead and lead us off with Enchantment here, and then I'll kind of summarize it up with my thoughts.
So I'll start because I only saw it. I saw it the night of the September 30th. So the night they had all the press and did that. I saw it from my balcony at Poly, and I was underwhelmed. But I have a very special attachment to both Wishes and Happily Ever After, so maybe it will grow on me. But I couldn't see the projections from where I was. So at some point I'll have to actually see it in the Magic Kingdom. But for right now, I would probably choose Harmonious over Enchantment, just at the moment.
Okay. So Alicia, what was your thoughts on Enchantment at Magic Kingdom?
I like the projections. I like the show. I thought the fireworks were fine. The biggest thing, we were disappointed in the music. It wasn't very catchy, sing-alongable, and there was a long section of just instrumental. I'm guessing because they really want you to focus in on those projections, but I just found myself not drawn to it, and I'm hoping that there was, some song to it. I'm hoping that grows on me, but it was definitely not. I was hoping to be wowed, and I was not.
Bummer.
Okay, so technically speaking, from a pyrotechnics perspective, blows Happily Ever After out of the water. The fireworks in this show were just phenomenal. And I would almost say they probably launched 50% more fireworks and bigger fireworks. They are painting the sky with this show. So 2 thumbs up on the fireworks. I think the projections, they definitely increased their game there as well. That castle with all of the iridescence, and when they light it up and make the iridescent stuff pop, is just amazing now. So I think the projections are cool. Now, I watched from in front of the Plaza restaurant, so I did not have a really good view of Main Street. And Dan asked a question here, where are the best viewing spots for Harmonious and Enchantment? And so we'll stick to Harmonious now. We'll bring it back up. But I would say camp out on Main Street or right there at the center, roundabout area in front of the train station, in front of the train station on Main Street, where you can look all the way down the Main Street and see the castle. You'll see everything there is to see at that point in time. and you won't have trees in the way or anything else. So that will be a really good spot to watch that. But I think that's going to get like people are going to start camping out there hours upon hours upon hours early for it.
Oh, that's my other question. Sorry. How early were people lining up?
I walked through the hub at like 4:00 and there were people already there and more people spreading out blankets in those courtyard areas and, all over. My husband and daughter went about 2 hours early and got our spot.
I tried to come in at 6:00 and meet Willie and Rebecca for dinner at Pinocchio's. And it took probably 20 minutes to get from the train station to Pinocchio's.
Wow, just all the way.
Because it was just like bumper to bumper. The center of Main Street was locked down with people camping out.
Okay, good.
And so you had two-way traffic on both sides of people trying to come in and out, and then scooters and wheelchairs, and it was just a cluster mess.
Yeah.
So I can say this, if this event ends up being a super spreader, it would not shock me. Just due to the amount of people, the amount of
crowds
and packed in and everything else as well. And so, yeah. So that's where I'm at there. Musically speaking in this show, I'm going to say it lost the feels because Happily Ever After had the emotional, and I just call it the feels, right? You felt it. And not to spoil anything for anybody, but like Happily Ever After had a big buildup and you knew when Tink was going to fly, right? Just from the you can fly. Well, that's like queuing her up, okay? And so next thing you know, you're in the middle of the show and like, boom, like there's Tink, okay? And you're like, like I didn't have to build up, right?
I can't,
I'm like missing this. And I thought the music and the scenes, I just don't think they were long enough for me to like get into the vibe. It felt very ADD to me, like very
so sad.
Like I felt like the technical people won this round and the storytellers, they just got pushed to the back with the technical people going, well, let me roll up my sleeves and show you all the new cool stuff I can do. Storytellers step aside, right? I got some cool fireworks and some cool projections to do.
Yeah. Darn.
So that's what I felt like for Harmonious. And I saw a petition with a few thousand people on it for change.org to say, bring it back. And every time we get a new fireworks show, like fans are fickle and they're like, hate it, burn the place down, whatever. And then 3 months later, I love it. Don't change it. Okay.
Yeah. So I have to tell you that Disneyland 50th was a story about Disneyland, and it took you Walt's opening speech, took you down Main Street songs while the fireworks are going off. Then you went to Adventureland and you heard Indiana Jones, and you went to New Orleans Square, and it was a story of how Disneyland was created.
Yes, that's what we wanted.
And that's what I was hoping for. I'm so sad it's not the creation of Walt Disney World and the trip down memory lane.
It's the last 10 years of IP. Okay.
Bummer.
So it's not even, classic.
Right.
Disney. There's no nod to Mr. Toad in here. There's no, right?
I was surprised at how many songs are in both Harmonious and Enchantment. That kind of took me by surprise. I was like, you have all like years and years and years of songs to choose from. And there's a couple that are in both.
Oh, so then the storyteller's totally lost because I was like, we're just going to pick the same songs and call it done. Oh,
I saw a post on social media that I summed it up in a way that at least made me take a really good look at what I thought. It was, Disney, you've kind of taken some of the magic away with all of the meet and greets and, the price increases and some of that. And now you create a show that's called The Magic in You, and that the magic is us. And if we don't feel it, it's our fault.
Yeah.
And that, was like, okay, we're not feeling the magic. It's our fault because we are the magic. That sort of hit me as a chord of like, yeah, they sort of just put it back on us to be the magic when we want to come there to escape reality and be in the magic.
Yeah, I'm not into that whole "you are the magic" storyline. It gets right into this "you're a special snowflake" culture, and
No one's buying that. That's over.
I'm like,
No one's buying that.
no,
So here's
no.
a question. How long is the show?
It seemed longer to me. I don't know what did you
I
ladies think?
I think it was 18 to 20 minutes.
That's
I
normal.
think
Normal time.
Harmonious is 20 minutes. I know that. Harmonious is 20 minutes.
Yeah, so it seemed longer to me, but I'm like I didn't set a timer for it. I think you could probably go look at the official Disney stream of it, and that would give you a pretty good idea because they don't mess around with pre-show, post-show stuff in there. It's just the show.
Okay.
And so if you look at the Disney Parks blog's official stream of it, you'll probably come
Get the full
with a good
time.
answer there as well.
Yeah.
And Andrew is commenting here, wishes was 12 minutes, Reflections of Earth was 16. They've made them definitely longer. Okay.
They're all 20 here. Yeah, they're all 20 here. 18 to 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's talk about Epcot and Harmonious.
Okay. Amy, do you want to kick this one off first?
Sure. So I loved Harmonious, and what's kind of interesting is that we saw it on the very first night they showed it. So I think that was September 29th was the first night they showed it, and we had a spot between Mexico and Norway, which we thought would be fine. And I was like, this is a great show. I love it. It's so fun. And I really enjoyed the music. I loved the new arrangements. I liked the projections and everything. And then I watched it today. Actually, I watched a recording of it, and I thought, wow, I missed all of that. I missed everything that was happening in what they're calling the Stargate. I missed everything that was happening in there. So I thought it was a great show. And now I'm like, well, the next time I go back, I'm either going to camp out for that spot, or I'm just going to suck it up and pay for one of the dining experiences so that I know I have the good spot. But I thought it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I like the way it highlighted the different countries. I thought it was great.
So again, I love this show. Okay. I mean, I'm to the point where I was going, okay, like the damage that the Imagineers did to World Showcase in the day with that ugly Stargate and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing the show live, I was like, okay, your sins are forgiven. Okay. We're good. We're good. Like you made up for it. You brought a killer show into this. Now I watched it from Spaceship Earth was at my back, and I was facing the Stargate, and the American Pavilion was on the other side. So I had what I thought was a killer view because the Stargate was in full view for me, but I could see if you're looking at it from any place else around World Lagoon, you're not going to miss out on that two-sided Stargate. So to me, I would say fight to get in front of the Stargate for the best position, because we had that question come up earlier. And I like the fact that they did a little bit of nods here to the globe from Illuminations.
Oh, good.
And we got a little bit of that. I wanted to see like a minute or two more of it. And I didn't. Okay. I just didn't see that. But I wanted that. And for the nation's part, they kind of sung some of the songs in various different languages.
I like that.
But it was still IP-ish, kind of this. I was looking for the let's come together. Let's,
be in harmony, right?
Let's be in harmony with each other.
Yeah.
But instead we got music that was very much in harmony. Okay. So I guess maybe if the music is in harmony, we should be too. But I would have liked a story and a message that came in with that a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my take there. I do think it's a phenomenal show. The fireworks, the projections, over the top, awesome. If I had to tell you, you could only see one show and you had to pick, I would say go to Harmonious, because Enchantment left me a little wanting more. But Harmonious, I was applauding that one. That one was a great show. Alicia, what was your thoughts on it?
Sorry, little technical difficulty here with my power cord. stopped working. I actually didn't see Harmonious. We did not go to Epcot, so I did not.
Okay. So you didn't make it over to Epcot at all, but that was my take on it. I thought it was a really great show, and so he goes. The spots are America or between Canada and Mexico for Harmonious, and I would say yes, dead center would be your best spot there, Dan, on one side or the other, because you want a really good head-on view of that Stargate. And some of the laser projections that they're doing above the Stargate, because they're like spraying water up and they're doing 3D laser projections, it was just amazing. They did a few hearts in there. They had some manta rays that were coming back in and doing, flapping through the, I guess, water, wind, waves, whatever is up there. It was incredible. It was absolutely positively incredible. And I think we got a little bit of story here. Again, I wanted more, though. I definitely wanted more. And
I missed all that from the side. I missed the manta ray. I missed the rose over when they were doing the Beauty and the Beast. I missed all that from the side. Just so everyone, just to give people an idea of what you're missing.
On the side, you're going to miss out on the projections. And how early were people lining up for this?
So I would tell you again, it was early, but I think I got there. I thought it started at 9:15, so I got there at like 8:45. And I did learn a new trick from Rebecca there, and I hadn't thought of it before. And it was basically they tape everything off, and people sit down and sprawl out and take up a bunch of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to get there before they force everybody to stand up. And even if you have to troll back and forth through you want to be until they call, okay, everybody stand up. Because as soon as everybody stands up, boom, you can pop right into a really good spot.
Okay.
So that's a new tip and a new technique that I learned on this trip, was to just wait for the people to stand up, and then boom, you sneak into the cool spots and you just sit there and troll it. Okay. Which I guess is easy to do as a single. I don't know if I could do that with kids, but it was a new technique for me. But I would say you're going to want to get there at least an hour early if you want a good show and you really want to take that in. And you're going to want to prioritize that.
Oh, great. And then my other question is actually for Amy, because she did something very special on October 1st. I want her to tell us how she pulled it off.
So my family didn't have Magic Kingdom park passes. I couldn't get them. We couldn't renew their passes obviously until August. And by then the Magic Kingdom park passes were gone. And I heard they dropped some the day before, but I couldn't get them in time. So they had Epcot park passes. So I did the Magic Kingdom from 6 a.m. to noon. I went back to Polynesia and I had lunch. And then I hopped to Epcot right at 2:00 and met up with them for a couple hours. And then they wanted to go to Hollywood Studios. So I was like, well, I've already come this far. So we went to Hollywood Studios. We walked right on to Millennium Falcon. We walked right into the Toy Story Mania. We had a snack. We rode Rock and Roller Coaster. And then they decided that they were done. And I was like, well, I'm going for it. So I hopped to Animal Kingdom. I walked on to Flight of Passage. I had a drink. I got on the last Kilimanjaro Safaris. And then I realized that I forgot a special 50th anniversary Hollywood Studios map. So I went back to Hollywood Studios. I took a picture of the Beacons of Magic on the Tower of Terror. I took the Skyliner back to Epcot. I went back through Epcot. I rode Remy. I got the very last boarding group for Remy at 4:30 when we were on the Skyliner going from Epcot to Hollywood Studios. I was like, let's see if there's still a boarding group left. So from the Skyliner, after we left Epcot, I still was able to get a boarding group for Remy. So I got on Remy at about 8:45.
It's a magic day.
And then went back to the monorail, and I took the monorail back to ticketing and transportation, and I almost went back to the Magic Kingdom to complete the circle. And I'd walked 45,000 steps at that point, and I just couldn't force it.
I don't think you could do that day again if you tried. Okay.
No, that was a magical birthday.
It was a magical day. I thought about, if I do get back to the Magic Kingdom, I had an hour before close, and I thought about how hard it was going to be to get out of there if I went in, and I just went back to Poly. I just couldn't make myself do it. But
Got it. So,
but my family did tap out after 2 parks.
well, amateurs, rookies.
Right.
Exactly.
Like-
They're not the diehards.
Yeah.
It's all-
Four
it's-
parks on October 1st. I just love that story.
Yeah.
And then Alicia has some, what are Holland's no-dos?
Yeah. We got to, Holland gave us a list to come back in.
What are Holland's no-do? Don't do it.
Well, so her big things, she was underwhelmed at the welcome show. She thought they should have, made it historic and said, something about being there. She was not as big a fan of the fireworks show at all. She wants wishes back. So she even skipped happily ever after. And the other thing, this is something nobody really said, but she's like, where was Walt's family? Why weren't they showcased? Like, she was expecting that maybe they were in the media, and I haven't made it back to look at that. But she really wanted to see some of his legacy. And she was a little disappointed that she didn't get to see that.
And that's actually a really good point. Because like I said, at Disneyland's 50th, they talked about Walt from the very beginning, and that's his voice at the very beginning of our fireworks show, of our 50th show.
But then again, Walt never stepped foot in a completed park. So.
But she was talking about the family, why it wasn't the family showcased.
Well, I can tell you why the family wasn't showcased there is because they've all spoken out about Disney not paying their cast members enough, and they're not they fight with the ABC or the corporate raider owners of Disney that hey, you're not doing this dad's way kind of thing. So they don't do anything with them. They don't downplay them. They want them off the radars. So that explains why the family wasn't there.
Which is a bummer, especially for such a big event.
Yeah.
So another fun thing, though, that surprised us is all the PhotoPass photos were free that day.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's great.
so that was a nice little perk, and I do remember seeing something along those lines as well. I mean, pretty much everybody there was an annual pass holder, so I don't imagine anybody being a Disney super fan that was there that bought park tickets that didn't have a photo pass. But
me,
nice.
But if you have the new pass, you don't. It's not included. I still have a legacy pass, but
the new pass.
I'm not paying the $99 when it's not free anymore.
Yeah, and we didn't have PhotoPass, so I just went in to see what it looked like once, and I was like, wait, I can download this. And so, I had posted even about it, and then a few hours later, they put a push message through the app saying, this is a gift.
That's nice.
I thought that was something, a little fun.
That's special. That's yay! They did one special thing for guests. That's nice.
Yeah, they threw us a bone there. I think the commemorative maps that they gave out and the posters at Magic Kingdom were a really, really, really nice touch. And,
good.
And yeah, so kudos to Disney for that. That was, just showing a little bit of fan appreciation, which a lot of times we don't feel like we typically get.
Right,
and
definitely.
So we're pretty honest in our feedback on this show that if we love it, we'll tell you about it. We'll sing the praises from the rooftop. If we don't think it's cool, we'll do that as well. So we're just honest and authentic here. That's part of who I am, and I can't be any other way. And so,
I add one more thing that I love? Yeah. I love the new walking path from Magic Kingdom to the Polynesian. I love it. I can do it in 20 minutes, moving at my Disney pace. It was fantastic. That's how I got to Magic Kingdom on the morning of the 1st.
Us too. We, even my 11-year-old, in fact, she was the one who asked to walk. It took us and our family speed 28 minutes. But we stopped to check out the line for the monorail at Poly too. So probably 25 minutes if we just went straight from our room. And it was not nearly as bad of a walk as I anticipated. And it was really nice. But I talked to somebody the next morning who went running, and the bridge was closed. So while they let us walk early on the 1st, if you're thinking you're going to get there super early to Magic Kingdom by using the walking path, they do close it for certain hours. And
Interesting. That's good. That's actually good to know. And then I was going to ask you, for the 1st, how early was the park opened?
So I walked out of my room at Poly at exactly 6 a.m. and I saw a castle flare, and I thought, oh, I'm done. I'm toast. They already opened it. So I think that at 6 a.m. they started letting people in.
We showed up. We left our room at 5:30. We got there at 6:05, but again, we stopped to try to decide if we were going to get in line for the monorail or not. At 6:15, they started letting you through the ticket.
Oh, okay.
Race. So 6:15, and then you could only go in, right? You could get in line for the merchandise, but the lands were still blocked off. If you were a resort guest, you could go around and get into another area, but it was still blocked off. But then at 7 a.m., it was supposed to be 7:30. Resort guests got into the park, but at 7 they opened it up to let resort guests in. So we had 5 rounds of Space Ranger spin in, and then came back to the hub to watch the welcome show.
Nice.
And I thought they did 2 welcome shows that day. No, okay.
I only saw one, but
okay.
So I must have rolled up at 6:20 just as they were finishing letting in the first push.
But they didn't do fireworks. They were testing fireworks before.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, they did not do fireworks when they opened the ticket.
Okay.
I mean, it was they counted down.
Okay.
Got it.
So I found a spot on the side of the hub in front of one of the popcorn carts to watch the opening, and about 5 minutes before the opening show, they must have done something. They must have dropped a rope. They must have just moved something, because it was like the rush to the pit at Horde in the 90s. Like all of a sudden, all these people just went rushing to the front of the castle. And I thought, I hope there's not a lot of kids in that crowd, because those people, no one had any, like, they were not paying attention to what was going on in front of them. They just rushed the stage.
Yeah. See, I got at Poly at 1 a.m. and I wasn't going to deal with that craziness, because my flight didn't land until about midnight, and I had planned on getting there earlier that day, but I had to move the flight so I could work that day, because I ended up taking time off for the cruise, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not doing the whole rope drop craziness stuff ever.
You don't need to.
No.
I told the kids we weren't going to do it for Hollywood Studios, but I can't not do it. I just can't make myself not do it.
So has anyone stayed for the extra hours after? That's what the extra half an hour after.
It just started yesterday.
Right? Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Okay. So Chad, you're going to have to go extra hours.
Well, only if you're there with me this
I will.
weekend,
No, I'll do extra hours after. I have to rope drop Starbucks. That's my rope drop.
Got it. You're going for one of the mugs?
Yes.
Okay. I hope you got your boxing gloves with you.
I have to rope drop the Starbucks. Yep.
You have to put it on somebody to get those. Anyways, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for our show tonight, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I also want to do a ad read here, because we forgot to do it at the beginning. So huge shout out thank you to DVC Rental Store. If you've got some extra points and you want to put some cash into your pockets, they would love to help you out. And I have done my first point cruise on that Wish deal. All I can tell you is, man, it's so much easier just renting your points, getting cash, and going to your favorite travel agent than working with Disney on this stuff, because I still don't have a reservation number on that, and I'm a little disappointed. So if you got extra points, DVC Rental Store will be glad to find a renter for your points. We are back at it full swing. People are lined up and dying to get your points. So lots of demand for point rental these days. Again, point supply is pretty low. I'm sure they can help you find a renter like that fast. So thank you so much to DVC Rental Store. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, and thank you to all of our Patreons as well. We'll be back next week with a regular show when I'm not trying to produce this from Saratoga, and
it won't be us. We'll have special people, because we're in Disney World.
Oh, that's right.
It won't be us.
It'll be the week after that before I'm back home, right? But I will be here probably in the same Saratoga room next week if I'm on. But we'll figure something else out. So, and thank you guys for tuning in, and thanks for watching. You guys have a great night, and we will see you next week in some shape, form, or fashion. And the week after that, we'll have a regular live show. And I think that week, Gina, we're doing what? The $99 armchair Imagineerings. Yes. So we're going to ask this fun question of, if you were to create your own $99 add-on to your annual pass, what would you create? And what would you have Disney offer us for $99? So we'll throw that little pebble in your pond and give you a couple weeks to think about it. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week in some form, and then we'll definitely be back after that coming up. So
All right.
have a great night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
See you real soon.